Hey guys, it's Julian Hemmings. I can't wait to have a convo with you guys. Let's do this.
Thank you. Today I want to take you all with me in a conversation about race and disability within Shakespeare's play, Othello. See, the play Othello has a conversation about how disability and race constantly intersect and cause others to develop feelings of anger, cause others as well to feel as if they can inflict violence upon those who do not fit the proper mold of their society. In this context, it's Venice. So anyone who is not white, male, or able-bodied is ready to be targeted. Our first theoretical framework is critical race theory, which was established in 1981. Critical race theory, in the anthology written by Richard Delgado and Stefanik, defined critical race theory as a theoretical framework in the social sciences that uses critical theory to examine society and culture as they relate transforming the relationship among race, racism, and power. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. What is race? That was perfect. What is racism?
Racism is thinking that a certain race is more important than another race just because of their race alone, based on the fact that they're race alone, like a hierarchy of races based on race.
Perfect. Thank you. So, critical race theory, as Queen and Jacqueline did, seeks to answer these questions of what is race and how does race influence our society. So racism is commonplace. Its ordinariness makes it hard to identify and thus harder to address. Race is not objective, as Jacqueline said, because it's a social construct. It's not based upon objective reality. And going towards Shakespeare's point, our social world is not fixed. Rather, we construct it with our own words and our stories. So, what can anyone tell me about the character Othello? Does anyone know Othello here? Anyone else? Well, if you knew more, you wouldn't be here. Othello is deeply insecure due to this unshakable feeling of being an outsider, a social pariah. Can anyone tell me anything about the character Iago? If you knew more, you wouldn't be here. Okay, does anyone know him? This is Niccolò Machiavelli. He is a political philosopher within the Renaissance times. He believed in cunning in order to achieve power. Iago is resentful towards Othello because he believes that Othello's promotion to become general of Venice is a violation of his birthright. He feels simply because of the color of his skin, he has the right to be above this man Othello. Iago is very manipulative. Iago lies to Othello about Desdemona's loyalty to him. Othello is pitted against Cassio, one of his few allies in Venice, because of the lies of Iago. And this is why I identify Iago as a Machiavellian character. Now, there's a quote here, or a verse, and it's by Iago. Can someone read this for me? Oh, actually, George, can you read this?
Sure.
Come on.
Aye, there's the point. As to be bold with you, not to affect many proposed matches of her own clime, complexion, and degree, whereto we see all things nature tends. First, one may smell in such a will most rank foul proposition. Thoughts unnatural, but pardon me, I do not in position distinctly speak of her, though I may fear her. Will, recoiling in her better judgment, may fall to match you with her country forms, and happily repent.
Give that man an Oscar. Okay. Iago's telling Othello that Desdemona can never truly love him because he is an outsider. The color of his skin could never match hers. And thus, she will always love a man of her own form, a Venetian man. Thus, he brings up the example of Cassio. And this brings Othello to a jealous point. A very dark, jealous point. Now we're going to look at critical disability studies, ladies and gentlemen. Disability studies seeks to dispel the negative stigma around being disabled. CDS maintains that being disabled is not a personal misfortune or an individual defect, but a byproduct of a disabling social and built environment. The question here is not what is disability, but should we treat disability? Why or why not? I'll take two hands. Jacqueline, my favorite student.
We live in like an able-bodied society, so if everyone, say, was born and we all utilize wheelchairs or something, like we would have a wheelchair-friendly society. So it's not something that needs to be treated; it's something that needs to be accepted.
Perfect. Anyone else?
And be considered normal in the way that people do. I feel like if you feel like that's a choice you want to make, then it should be accepted. If not, then it's the same thing.
But does normalcy mean improvement?
That's true.
Oh, dear, go ahead, man. I like you. Go ahead.
I just want to know what we mean by treat. What does that term really mean?
Perfect. Segue. The medical model. The medical model understands disability through the context of impairment and investigates how society and institutions can help to fix, meaning through medical treatment, disabled people. Social model. The social model of disability studies and analyzes how society disables people, through creating an environment that is socially, physically, and mentally inaccessible to those who are identified as being disabled. Is normalcy always improvement? This model, the identity model, interprets disability identity as a result of shared experiences, of discrimination, and regards people with disabilities as a minority group. So now, we're going to look at a close reading of ableism within Othello. Talking about Desdemona. Now, why would I place this here as a close reading of ableism? What does this mean? Anyone go and hit me with it? And also, what is this word right here? Scar. Scar. Her body. He does not want to. Her body is so perfect that it's not only her white skin that's perfect, but the fact that she does not have a scar. Othello is saying this. Othello is saying this because he's thinking about killing Desdemona. Iago, the villain here, has indoctrinated Othello in such a way where he not only questions Desdemona's fidelity to him, but he questions her, actually accepts the feelings of racism and ableism, the teachings of racism and ableism given to him by Iago. He becomes indoctrinated in self-hate. Now, why should I care? When I tell people I do Shakespeare, they ask me, brother, why should I care? It seems to be like a pretty consistent theme. Well, I'll tell you. William Shakespeare has almost an immortal influence on European culture. And as Americans, we do live in a European culture. The narratives within critical race theory that stories have an impact, right? And if we can change the way these narratives are told, then we can change the way people perceive others. See, we always say the personal is political, but we never, ever, ever, ever say that the theatrical is also political. See, that if we influence the way people and the way media perceives people, then it's possible that we can have people who never would have questioned racism. We can have people who never would have questioned ableism, question ableism, changing the conversation, and then just by doing that, they can get out there and change policy. How much time do I have left? Because I'm done, baby. Also, I want to leave you guys with a story here, man. Who knows? Okay. Emmett Till had a speech impediment. Did anyone know that? You knew that, right? Emmett Till is a young, well, I'm done with the presentation, so you guys can't critique me on this one, so I'm just going to talk to you guys regular. So I would just say Emmett Till is a young man who was in Mississippi. He was from Chicago, went to Mississippi for vacation, and a white woman said that he whistled at her, and they were offended by this, and some white folks went to his house and beat him up and just mutilated his body. left him in the water, rose up. And this is what some argue sparked the civil rights movement. I'm not even going to challenge the story. But I would say that the white woman said that Emmett Till whistled at her. Emmett Till's speech impediment, he can only open his throat by whistling. So he probably didn't even whistle at her. He was trying to open up his throat. And that is an example of how race and disability intersect and cause an even greater level of oppression. Thank you guys very much, man. You're probably going to be in trouble, and you did this wrong and that wrong, and I accept it.
Like, comment, and subscribe.